We also have dystopian news, not just from the world of Donald Trump's taxes, but from the world of the Supreme Court, because Donald Trump has indeed nominated the Supreme Court to the Supreme Court, the Seventh Circuit judge who we reported to you last week as the front runner. Her name is Amy Coney Barrett. I have clips from this completely authoritarian nightmare event during which Donald Trump nominated Amy Coney Barrett. But I do want to remind you of a few things before we get to that. Last week in my segment about Amy Coney Barrett, I told you that she is not merely a Federalist Society type. She's not merely an anti-abortion type. She's not merely a it's all for God, even the legal system type. I told you that she's part of a cult called the People of Praise, which is reminiscent of the cult that Margaret Atwood describes in the dystopian novel A Handmaid's Tale. And I got a few emails over the weekend from people saying, David, you have to apologize. Apologize, because People of Praise was not actually the inspiration for Handmaid's Tale. That was fake news, and you fell for it. So let me clarify now. No. I didn't fall for anything. I was very much aware last week that Handmaid's Tale was inspired by a different group called People of Hope. I never said last week that People of Praise was the inspiration for Handmaid's Tale. I told you that there are some interesting overlaps. Barrett is part of People of Praise, and there are reminiscent elements of People of Praise that we see in Handmaid's Tale. For example, People of Praise previously referred to women in the cult as handmaids. Now they've since changed the name. People of Praise believes in the subjugation of women in households as a matter of default. That's reminiscent of A Handmaid's Tale. Yes, People of Praise was not what inspired Margaret Atwood's book, but I never said that People of Praise was what inspired Margaret Atwood's book. So please stop asking me for apologies that don't make any sense. Now on to the event. Donald Trump announced that, yes, Amy Coney Barrett is his nominee to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg, putting in place a possible justice who would close many of the doors that Ruth Bader Ginsburg opened and left opened behind her. It's tragic. It's nothing short of tragic. So let's get into it. Donald Trump here reading from a teleprompter, the same type of teleprompter he slams Joe Biden for using, making it official. Amy Coney Barrett is his nominee to replace RBG.
Today it is my honor to nominate one of our nation's most brilliant and gifted legal minds to the Supreme Court. She is a woman of unparalleled achievement, towering intellect, sterling credentials, and unyielding loyalty to the Constitution, Judge Amy Coney Barrett.
So this really is horrible. This is the exact opposite of the type of person we should have on the court. You look at other countries and you see other countries moving forward. We're moving backwards. We're putting in more people who are against abortion, people who believe that civil government is a system meant to serve religious interests. Amy Coney Barrett saying that reportedly when she spoke to Notre Dame, at Notre Dame. This could not be more dystopian and toxic. And the entire event was whacked. Donald Trump here without even a semblance of irony and no iota of irony urges lawmakers to refrain from personal attacks.
Thank you. I further urge all members of the other side of the aisle to provide Judge Barrett with the respectful and dignified hearing that she deserves, and frankly, that our country deserves. I urge lawmakers and members of the media to refrain from personal or partisan attacks, and the stakes for our country are incredibly high.
Yeah, Donald Trump, who's been saying sleepy Joe Biden has dementia and took drugs before his debate with Bernie, and the same Donald Trump that attacked Meghan Markle last week, that Donald Trump is saying don't make personal attacks against Amy Coney Barrett. Here is Barrett confirming that she is in line with the ideology of the late right-wing Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. Absolutely horrifying.
And given his incalculable influence on my life, I am very moved to have members of the Scalia family here today, including his dear wife, Maureen. I clerked for Justice Scalia more than 20 years ago, but the lessons I learned still resonate. His judicial philosophy is mine too.
So, as I said last week, I do not believe that at this point we have any way to stop this, but we still do have things we can stop, like another 4 years of Donald Trump. This ship may have sailed. If the Republicans want to, it's become clear because there are only 2 Republicans that said they would not vote to confirm a Supreme Court justice at this time. If they have the votes, they've have the votes. Now, we'll see how the confirmation hearings go. You still do the confirmation hearings for a reason. But what we can stop is Trump getting more Supreme Court justices. Clarence Thomas is not a spring chicken at this point. It is likely that 1, maybe 2 Supreme Court justices would be replaced during the next presidential term. I don't want Donald Trump getting those selections. I don't know if you do, but from what we're seeing so far, I don't think anybody should. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think the strategy should be from here through the election. I'm on Twitter at @Pakman. I want to take a second to tell you about one of our sponsors, S&H Masks. S&H Masks has everything you need when it comes to face masks and other protective gear for COVID-19, and they're giving my audience 20% off. S&H Masks is the company that I've personally been going to for face masks. I love and trust the products they sell, and that's actually why I reached out to them about being a sponsor. I've tried tons of different face masks this year, like many of you, and I still have not found a mask that is more comfortable or easier to breathe in than the washable cotton masks that they sell. It's made of a silky, lightweight cloth that feels great on the skin, has a convenient adjustable strap, and it features a disposable 5-layer particle filter made of activated carbon. They also have disposable cloth masks, which are really comfortable, as well as all of the other gear like face shields, alcohol wipes, no-touch infrared thermometers, and all of their prices are very reasonable. I also love S&H Masks because they've donated over 60,000 masks to healthcare institutions. They're an excellent company. Shipping is just $5 and shipping is free on orders over $150. You can get there by going to davidpakman.com/mask. The link is under this video, and you can save 20% on everything in their store when you use the coupon code DAVID.